what does success look like to me? What am I driving towards? And those things are very personal. It's amazing what you can accomplish when there's trust in the room. And when you remove that trust, it's remarkable how inefficient you can become.
And when you've got guys around you who are buying into your vision and pushing towards the same thing, it's energizing.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, the Forge Contractor Alliance podcast. We're happy to have you around. It's Kenton and Josh with you in a new year.
Yeah.
Crazy. 2026, guys. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. New year, new dreams.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be great.
So we wanted to do a recap. We did a precursor to the Ridgeline Roofing and Solar AGM, annual general meeting. And it's kind of funny because a general meeting just doesn't sound that stimulating to most people. It's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of, reflection and projection, etc. And I wasn't able to be, you had it down in Vancouver, and I wasn't able to be on site, but I was online with you guys for like just about 6.5 hours that day. And my wife was just like, oh man, that doesn't sound very fun. But I was really looking forward to it. Yeah. And it did not disappoint. I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, 10 years doing this, and I mentioned this before, I think, but like I sucked at running meetings, and like a meeting can be a very draining, boring, discouraging thing if not done right.
It can suck your soul.
Yeah, totally can.
Yeah.
And seriously, this one was life-giving.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew, because it's the first one I actually put proper effort into and had a team of guys, the Forge guys, you guys all helped me put this on, and we wrestled through agendas and everything, and we went into it feeling like I'm like, this is going to be a pivotal day for my company. And walking away from it, like the stakeholders, my shareholders are like, this was going to be a pivotal day for us. Yeah. And it was, it's early. The work needs to be done, but the expectations have been set. Yeah. And it's a good meeting is one where you walk away inspired and like ready to conquer your goals that you've set. Yeah, looking ahead and being excited about what's going to come around the next corner. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I mean, as a Forge team, I think we were all super inspired coming out of that. Like it was great hosting it with Chris and Joel. And you being the CEO, like you're in the limelight and in the, you're highly involved in every piece of what's going on. But as facilitators of the meeting, we got to do something that was really neat because we're all really different guys. Yeah. And we have different strengths and different ways of communicating. And we all hosted different pieces of that meeting. And I just felt like that was just a lot of fun. But man, like such crazy value when you bring someone into your meeting who's like at an arm's length, because you guys don't work day to day with my guys, so therefore you're not scared of offending me or these guys. And Chris chaired the meeting. Yeah, he did, and he did a wonderful job. Oh man, the ways he would be like, hey, you're off topic. Yeah, get back on topic. I'm like, man, I wouldn't talk to my guys like this. Like, but it was awesome. So it kept the meeting fluid. It kept it meaningful, on schedule, and he didn't let us get off course, which would be really hard to do within your own people. Totally, yeah. So having the outside perspective of you guys, especially Chris, keeping things on, man. And even the comments that you, Joel, and Chris brought in. Just like, hey, like, why is this like this? Like, explain. And you made us work through some things, and gave some real encouragement at times, a little bit of a kick in the butt in other times, and it was received really well by all my team. Man, I think, like, I don't know what all is in the cards for, like, what all we've got coming for Forge. I'm not sure what all of our pursuits will be, but I do hope that part of it is going to be getting involved in AGMs for different companies and helping to host and to kind of chair those things as a team, because man, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and we all loved it. Yeah, like I was excited about putting on this meeting and having it be effective, but like Chris and I have talked about it at length. It's just like, this is a service that we need to offer, because there's such value in bringing a structure from outside of your corporation to, build an agenda, make sure you're holding accountability, but you're also inspiring. Like, to balance all of that is very difficult. And Chris and I wrestled a lot with the agenda going into it, because it's like, I want it to be more inspiring and he wanted more of an accountability. Yeah. And we met in the middle with this agenda that did both.
It did.
And
it looked backward, it looked forward. It was and one of the things that I'm always looking for is like I want to be part of something where it's not about excuses. It's not about, well, this, you know what I mean? Like I want to be part of something where people are taking responsibility, accepting issues that may not have been perfect, looking forward, willing to put their effort into things that, may need fine tuning, etc. And I just felt a lot of that, like, really positive approach to, we haven't nailed it in all regards, but we're doing something and looking forward. Like, how are we shifting? And it's not about revolutionizing your company. It's about fine tuning.
Yeah. And some of it's some pretty big gaps were highlighted.
Sure.
So,
but it's not like you're starting from scratch.
No.
You've got momentum. You're running a positive, good, forward-thinking company, but you've also got huge goals. You want to roll this thing out to more locations. You want to take what you have done to this point and reproduce it in different ways, in different, and so to achieve those things, there's got to be growth.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
Yeah. And you got to have people who prioritize that.
Yeah.
And I'm again, through the year of pruning, I'm left with only owners who want to grow.
Totally.
And
you can feel that.
Yeah. And that's like, if you're considering partners, that should, like, you got to have values that align. But if you don't have somebody who wants to grow and wants to see your company grow, then you shouldn't have them as a partner.
Exactly.
So, it was, there were some pretty big gaps that were highlighted. And again, having that outside perspective from you, Joel and Chris, was very enlightening in that regard. So, action items right out of it. And a lot of work.
Your team's getting on it.
Yeah.
Like there were some action items that there was some already early this week, because that was last Saturday.
Yeah, so 6 days ago.
Yeah, so there's already some action being taken from what I can see.
Procedures have already been drawn up, put in place.
Wonderful.
Meetings are arranged for building a budget was one of the big things, because like having a more formal budget with an actual CFO.
Yes.
We've started all those things in the works. So, and again, action, like this is the challenge, is not just having a meeting that's not draining. You want your meeting to be inspiring, and this is what Chris did so well in that AGM, is like, these are the things that need to be accomplished. How are you going to do it? Who's owning this?
Yes.
Like, what's your action plan? And everyone jumped in, took things, and it's like, okay, you're in charge of this. When are you going to have it done by?
Totally.
And so we basically have these stewardship agreements and each owner took something.
Totally.
And are required to produce a result by a certain date.
Yeah.
And it's, and nobody took anything grudgingly.
Yeah, no.
Everyone was just like, I want that.
Yeah.
Like, I could, that's in my wheelhouse. I'll do that.
And even if they don't have all the pieces to put it together, they're going to now take responsibility and make sure that they're going to harness whatever team member they need in order to get something done.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you look at that meeting, what were your personal highlights as CEO? Like we're talking the broad perspective and the hosting, etc. But as far as like the actual nuts and bolts, what were the things that kind of hit you between the eyes and like, this is stuff we've got to work on or appreciate, or whatever the case may be?
The main theme that I think all of us really felt through that is having metrics and accountability throughout. You even mentioned excuses. Like right now, even myself, it's very easy to make excuses. Oh, I don't have, this, that, or the other thing. I don't have the metrics. I don't, those conversations are hard to have.
Sure.
Building systems and processes and actually having metrics to keep accountable it was something that, you know, and I went into the meeting aspiring to, you know, make that a goal for everybody. And Chris is very good about that too. And he saw that gap even before we got in the meeting.
Yeah.
But during the meeting, it was like there were tough questions that were asked that we were like, I actually don't know. Well, how do you find that out? We're like, well, we can't really tell because we don't have the metrics. And,
like, give an example of that.
Well, even specific types of leads.
Okay.
Where are our marketing dollars most effective?
Okay.
Because that's one of the things that came up. It's like your marketing, your advertising and marketing on your financials went way up. Why?
Yes.
Oh, we just need to pay for more advertising to generate more leads. Well, where did you put it? Well, just into these things. It was like, well, what was your ROI on that? It's just like, well, I don't know. Like,
yes.
And part of it would have been good if we had more personnel there, to walk us through. Like, because I only had owners for this whole meeting.
Yeah.
Something I learned next time is I'm going to have more of my bookkeeper, my team leads there for part of the meeting.
Yeah.
So that was something I definitely
even if
learned.
they're online, like I was, like,
yeah.
So they can answer some questions in real time and shed some light on some gray areas, etc.
Yeah, but there were a couple things that we just don't have measured.
Yeah,
that's like, and even some of our job roles where it's like, you know, who's responsible for this? Oh, we kind of all just, you know, pitch in. Nobody owns these certain things, so all those got highlighted, and they're like, it's one of the action items that we walked away from that meeting is clear job descriptions.
Yes.
And you know who owns every component to your business. Every component needs to be owned by somebody.
Yeah. And
it needs to be clearly defined and the expectations laid around it. And it was pretty clear that we've got a lot of gaps still to work through in that. My favorite theme around it was like trying to establish a North Star metric.
Okay.
One number that every stakeholder in the company works towards. And I don't even know if we're close to achieving that yet.
Yeah,
but it was a fun conversation.
So talk to me about that, because it is something that you have been working on with your ownership team for the last while. Like, when I say working on, maybe that's an overstatement, but you've been recognizing the need to establish it at the very least.
Yeah. I've been working on it myself the most. And it's such a hard thing to do, because the one thing your metric needs to do is show prosperity in your company. It shows growth.
Right. And to define success?
Yeah, arguably.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it needs to be simple, and it needs to be, you know, showing, again, growth in certain areas of your company. But it can't
simple
just be
so
anything.
that it's easily understood by everybody, correct?
Yes, and everybody can contribute to it.
Right.
So it's
recognize the value of it.
Yes.
Okay, so what are some of the things that you considered? Let's get right into the nuts and bolts here. What are some of the things that you considered and discarded?
Well, I think the one that everybody jumps to right away is overall revenue.
Okay.
Like, is your revenue growing? That's probably the metric that almost all business owners by default just go to. It's like, is my revenue growing?
Well, and it is one of those things when you're trying to evaluate who you're talking to when you meet someone, a new businessman at a conference or whatever, like knowing their general revenue, then you automatically kind of feel like you have an idea of what they're doing almost. Yeah. But that's a very small piece of a very big pie in many ways.
Well, it's a big piece, but it's a big pie.
yeah. Thank you. It's not a small piece. It is a descriptor. Yeah. It is a descriptor, but it is a descriptor, not the descriptor, I would say.
Yeah. It's always tempting to, and I mean, historically, that's what I would look at in terms of growth of my company. It's just like, how many dollars did we revenue last year to this year? Yeah. What's our trend? So that's the one that everybody listening to this who is a business owner, you typically know your revenue over the previous years and what your trend is doing.
Yeah.
So that's like default. But the point of the value per square is a number that's almost similar to that. And that's the thing. It's got to be something that...
value per square, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so that's what we landed on. Actually, initially, it wasn't value per square. It was total squares.
And what is a square, just for our audience?
100 square feet.
So in roofing, that's a typical measurement. It's kind of like Celsius or Fahrenheit, depending where in the world you're from as far as measuring weather. Square for a roofer. I roof for a guy who called himself Square a Day Bob, which means that he was slow but very very meticulous.
Square a day, that's pretty slow.
But 100 but not, yeah. But 100 square feet is basically like 10 feet by 10 feet, and it's a certain amount of roof covered. And so, yeah, when we're talking to each other within the industry, it's like, you know, this job is so and so many squares that automatically you think, okay, well, that's that.
So everybody can understand it. It's 3 bundles of shingles or 3 sheets of plywood.
Yeah, to
basically
1 square.
Is 1 square.
And the average house, depending where you're at, the average house in town here used to be around 20 square, give or take a tiny bit. Back in the day when the houses were basically, you know, a couple walkable sides and maybe a garage or something like that. And now probably it's closer to 30 square.
Probably still only 25,
something like that.
So anyways,
but there's a lot of 30 square houses.
Like a square is typically us in our trade, how we measure our volume.
Yes.
So we look at a job, it's like you said, it's 20 square, 40 square, 50 square. That's a really big house.
Yes, it is.
But you know, it's a form of measurement. So that's kind of the first thing we jump to is like Netflix, their their North Star metric is hours watched.
Right.
It's kind of a volume thing. But the problem is if you just measure volume, that doesn't really mean anything because it can be underpriced. It can be and it can be like there's so many factors that go into it that if you're just chasing volume, that doesn't mean fiscal health.
That's right.
So,
or any other kind of health for that matter.
Yeah, no, it can be all bad.
Yeah.
Like you can be doing everything wrong and still increasing your volume.
I remember once talking to my accountant and back in the days when I ran the cabinet shop, and he's like, yeah, you can price your stuff at that rate, but the more volume you do, the worse it's going to be for your company. He says, if you're losing money every time you're doing something, like volume is not the answer.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. So now the challenge is, it's like, okay, so at our AGM even, we came up with all these things, like what's really important to us. And this is where the wrestle is trying to figure out a metric that means something to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, immediately everyone goes to the really important things of culture.
Yeah.
And they're like 5-star reviews, no callbacks, and everyone's
or percentage
spitting
of
out
callbacks. Whatever. Yeah.
Everyone's spitting out like things that are like absolutely we need to track those and celebrate those.
Yeah.
But you can have lots of 5-star reviews and be winning on all the cultural things, but still have a business that's crashing and burning.
Yes, you can. And I've been there for short periods of my career where everyone looking in figured that I was being wildly successful, and I was like not sleeping before every payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And like just because people are happy doesn't mean that the business itself is healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
definitely.
And I remember that stage in my life, and I'm like, this is a tough place to be because my customers are happy, my employees are happy. I'm not happy because you know, like my employees were treated well and we're doing good work. Essentially, my customers reflected that, but what we were charging, and in the industry that I was in, what we were able to charge was part of the issue, and also the fact that we were going through shortly 2008, 2009, like tough economic times.
Yeah.
So there was challenges, and we were trying to grow, and so just pure outside perspective is not, you know, it's kind of like looking at the outside of someone and figuring that you know what's inside, and you just don't. You know, like the inside can be very different. And I think what you're saying is that you're trying to establish something that is reflective of overall health.
Yeah.
Is simple in nature and easily repeatable, or, you know, you can make it a statement which can be absorbed and then driven towards by your whole crew, by your whole staff.
By everybody involved.
Administrative, sales, guys on the ground or on the roof, as the case may be. Yeah.
Everybody. So like working through this at the AGM, it was really neat because we actually didn't make almost any progress on the North Star metric. I think I'm pretty close to defining that.
Yeah.
But alongside it brought up the glaring importance of, yes, we're going to have this North Star metric, which we've landed on value per square, which is going to have something to do with gross margins per square.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing the math, and we still need to figure out exactly how to break that down.
Sure.
Because that applies to salespeople. It's not just volume is a part of it. Efficiencies, budgets, all that. Everybody will contribute to that number.
You want to have revenue growth. Like you don't want to stagnate.
Yeah. Or you just want your margins to be better. Even if your
Yes.
revenue dips, but your margins grow, the value per square would go up.
Right.
So we're still trying to refine exactly what's going to go into that.
Sure.
But then beside that, we have this glaring need to measure and celebrate our cultural wins too.
So okay, if I'm hearing you right, you want to have your overarching metric that you're shooting for, but then you have supporting metrics.
Yeah.
And those supporting metrics are there was a lot of discussion around that.
Yeah, and that was probably the most difficult part, was just like everyone wanted the cultural and supporting metrics, which are some of the most important metrics in our company. Because again, you're celebrating growth and victories for your stakeholders and like really important things that need to be tracked and celebrated.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why my whole team was like, these need to be a part of it, is because we haven't done a good enough job to this point actually celebrating and recognizing these things.
That's totally fair.
So beautiful that it came up.
Yeah.
But whether or not it's going to be involved in the numbers in that value per square, that North Star metric, I'm still not sold on that.
Fair. No, that's fair. And so
maybe.
And so going forward in trying to fine tune this and trying to take it to the next step of like making things concrete and clear, because how do they say if it's not clear, then good luck?
Yep.
Like, where are you going from here with your team?
I basically got to break down, or what I'm going to do is just break it down further and put together a strategy to celebrate the wins.
Yeah.
But also have a clear plan on what that value per square metric is going to be, and find a way to actually broadcast it so that every month I can show the entire company. And this is one of the reasons why it's hard to use financials.
Yeah.
Is you don't want to necessarily show your books to your entire company.
Yeah.
Like,
that can be self-defeating, perhaps.
Yeah.
People that don't have the context. I mean,
they don't
someone that's
understand
just
what
coming out of high
mean.
school and making, entry-level wages are not going to understand or appreciate. Most likely they will misinterpret what it means.
Yeah.
And so, that's fair. I think that the supporting metrics, these other things that support your main metric, are also things that you somehow have to build into this, so that there is some sort of
or alongside it
somehow, like, and I think, so to me, what I'm thinking is you're tasked almost with building some sort of an algorithm, almost.
Yeah.
Like some sort of a algorithm that says these are the things, the information, these are the different components that we need to compile weekly, monthly, daily, monthly, however that looks, and then be able to put on a board and say, like, this is where we're at with this metric. But then the other supporting metrics somehow have to be part of that ongoing window into the health of the company, I would guess.
And I need to release them at the same time.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like, even if the supporting metrics and the cultural metrics and the wins aren't a part of the value per square North Star metric, it's really important for the sake of the culture that it shows that that's equally as important.
Yeah.
So,
and I think like my own opinion around this is that it's critical for people to have the information available. It's also critical to know how much of the information they can handle. And I think that this is, like I guess my thought is that if you have wonderful administration that gets you the information, and you've decided what information matters, it's not going to matter to everyone the same way. Mm-hmm. And not everyone is going to pay attention to the same level of detail, because they are different. They're invested to a different amount. When you're talking about your crew overall, your staff, etc., there's people there that are going to care that you're healthy, but not really care about the details. And then there's other people who really value knowing the details and understanding, where you're at. And so I think for people to pay attention, this is just a thought I'm having as we're speaking, but for people to pay attention, you have to learn how much information to give and how often.
Yeah, and that's part of the challenge. Like, in building this number, it needs to be something that people actually pay attention to, are inspired by, are motivated to work towards.
Yeah.
But isn't a number that is just like, oh, they're just trying to make more money.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, especially young people, that's how they can interpret this if it's not presented the right way.
Yeah.
Is that, oh, the company's just trying to money grab her.
Yeah.
whatever.
Which is so interesting to me, because I always feel like, if you're a forward-thinking kid, you should want your company to be healthy.
Yeah.
Because it means that every 2 weeks you're going to get a paycheck.
Which is actually, like, you saying that, it's just like, I'm really gun shy about this, and maybe I don't need to be, because I, again, in my year of pruning, let all those people go.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know if I need to take it that serious. And hey, do you know what? Maybe if I should keep it more of a financial forward number, because it'll pull out the people of the crowd who are thinking that way, and then I can prune them quicker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is
Sounds
just
harsh, but it's true.
I remember I worked for a guy once, a general contractor. He would have this joke. He's like, you can push me off a ladder, you can hurt me in any way you want, but do not hurt my right hand. It's the hand that signs the checks.
Nice. That's pretty good.
But I think that, what you ultimately want is you want people that want to be part of an organization that is winning.
Yeah.
That is making good moves, making a good difference in the community, and like where there's wins. And I think that people that are cynical about that, you don't want them on the bus.
Yeah.
And like, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, there are organizations who don't care, what your attitude is. And so there's work for people like that as well.
Yeah, they'll fit in somewhere else.
But you don't want them on your bus, because it's self-defeating.
Yeah.
And so I think what you're aiming for here is really exciting, because it could, and you never know. This is the thing that over lunch today, I was telling you about a kid who really annoyed me when I first worked with him, and really, really, like, seriously annoyed me to the point. And I don't get annoyed by kids. Like, I have quite a bit of grace for young kids. I love training young guys, and I love seeing them develop. This kid, man. Oh man, a couple days was enough. Like, I was not enjoying him. And then I had a chance to work with him. Oh boy, maybe 10 years later, he's become a dad. He's gotten into a trade, and he's like proficient at what he does, and just worked with him for a few days. Just happened to, and loved it. And I'm like, dude, have you ever matured? And he's like, yeah. He goes, and I was a bit of a jerk when I first worked with you. And I'm like, dude, that's not a lie. Like, that is the truth. He just felt like he knew everything, and he was just straight out of high school, and it was just really frustrating.
Yeah.
But what I guess my point is that there are people that, with the right metrics and the right motivation, they may grow and see the value and become inspired.
Yeah. And
potentially bring them to a place mentally and in their overall, like, desire to mature and grow, that without those goals and without the clearly defined, like, objectives, they might kind of flounder a bit.
Yeah. And that's the challenge that we came out of that meeting with, is like, and I mean, that's just one metric that we're working towards as a team, because I mean, that's ultimately, in leadership, there's a bunch of stuff we're working towards around that exact thing, is like, how do we inspire our team? How do we help our team grow as individuals and as a team? Because our company's not going to grow if the stakeholders within it aren't growing individually.
It's true. So,
yeah, the metric, I'll let you know what we land on.
Yeah. But you're getting close.
I feel like I probably as close as I was before the AGM.
Okay.
But again, the real highlight from that was just like, everyone's like, the clear need to celebrate the wins on the cultural side of things was like, that's
came
a
out loud and
must.
clear.
Yeah, that's an absolute must.
Oh,
and I need to release it at the same time that I announce a North Star metric, or value per square.
Good.
So, yeah, what in that meeting did you find was like, was there anything that kind of shocked you in that agenda, or anything that, like, whoa, this is unique for a AGM or a meeting in general?
I mean, I think some of just the ways it was run, was really neat. I loved the idea, like you made the statement earlier that Chris was careful to keep people on topic, but he also provided sticky notes for everyone to write on if there was something that they wanted to rabbit trail on, but just it wasn't appropriate at the time. Yeah. And then he put them in the parking lot for the end of the meeting, which I thought was really
cool,
good.
Actually.
Yeah,
I appreciated that.
That was brilliant, because what ended up happening was that some of those things needed to be discussed, but there literally wasn't a place in the agenda for them. And then being able to kind of kind of regroup at the end and focus on a few of those things, not all of them, but a few of them that were, needed to be discussed and were brought up because they mattered. I thought that was great. It's just as far as overall organization, I really like that.
Yeah, Chris, he brought a lot to that meeting.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so I think that was fantastic. I really liked the amount of focus around the table. Like, I mean, it was a long meeting, but there was a lot of focus.
Yeah.
And people were highly invested, which I think is just great. I think when you have people sitting around a table that are all looking to grow, like you say, like that's a key factor. It was evident.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the proper breaks where we actually left the room. You weren't able to join us.
No.
We're going to carry you around on our phone. Yeah. But yeah, we actually left the room and went for a walk down to a coffee shop, and we actually gave space to mentally reset. Yeah. Which was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that was great. And then I think looking forward, one of the themes that came out was that this next year, there are kind of a priority shook itself to the forefront, I think, which was based around stewardship.
Yeah, underlining theme. Like last year was about pruning, this year's about stewardship.
Yeah. So what was your thought around that? Like, what do you come away with?
It was kind of the theme around. Well, and it is a theme around everything, but financial stewardship. Yeah. Building a budget, that's one of the first things. Cultural awareness and stewarding our people better. We have a desire to grow. And if you're going to grow, you need to steward every component and every person in your business. Yeah. Very intentionally. Yeah. And so, we kind of walked away, we didn't go in and we, at no point were we what's our word of the year going to be? Yeah. What's our theme? That I've never been somebody who's done that. Yeah. It just kind of came up that after all these topics had come up and everything, it's just what's 2026 going to be? And it was just said this stewardship, and it was just, everyone in the room was that's what it's got to be.
And it seemed to me like part of the approach is paying attention. Yeah. And I think that it will be interesting to see how that evolves, how that is worked out in the year, not just by you personally, but by your staff in general. Yeah. Because there's so many different areas that can affect. And I think one of the things that you've been working on over the last while is getting your month-by-month information in a really relevant manner. Yeah. So that you can make decisions that are based on today's numbers, not on, 3 months ago numbers type of thing. Yeah. And I think that would feel to me like that's going to be even more important going forward to achieve good stewardship. I think you need to see that. I think that one of the things your company's done well is you're always busy. You always, if there's not enough work lined up, you guys give her. And that's something that you did this last year, is that there was a small window where it looked like you might not have the work that you needed to have for the year. And so you really gave her in the sales side of things to make sure that things were going to happen there. Part of the discussion was, hey, we know how to create work and how to create revenue. We need to do a better job once that revenue is in our hands. Yeah. And I'm super curious to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I mean, but I'm excited for it. And I think the main thing that I, as the CEO, was looking for was buy-in. Yeah. And, when we're talking about stewardship, it's not just this is what I want to talk about. Yeah. But having the guys actually be we're going to do this.
And using a very understandable component, one of the things that was addressed is your fleet costs. Yeah. And your trucks and your trailers and your maintenance, etc. Yeah. Your fleet costs are pretty extreme.
Oh, they're out of control. It's embarrassing to the point where all the guys who aren't involved are what are you guys doing?
Well, it's kind of, I mean, yeah, it's something. But one of your youngest owner, am I right on that? Yeah. Yep. Your youngest owner is taking ownership of trying to figure out better ways to manage your fleet, essentially.
Yeah.
And he is tasked with that coming out of that meeting. I think that's a wonderful task for him. It's not an overarchingly massive task as far as scope. Like it's not massive scope. However, there are a lot of different components if he wants to really fine tune this and do it well. Like there's a lot of different things he can look at, and he frankly has to do a lot of research. Yeah. And so I think that there's so many different things that he's going to have to look at, and I'm super excited to be a fly on the wall, which is my vantage point with your company. It's like I get to be a fly on the wall, and I love that, and I'm super excited to see what he does with it.
Yeah.
It is actually fascinating to me, and my fatherly temptation is to like sit him down early in the process and kind of like give him some thoughts on it. But my other side of my fatherly temptation is to like just see him really dig in and then just kind of be there if he wants to have a discussion here or there. But I want to see him succeed. Like I really want to see him nail it. I think not just for the health of the organization, but for his own like problem solving confidence, etc. I just think it's going to be a brilliant thing.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like fatherly, but it's my job to hold him accountable and make sure he does it, because it's been a bane for our company for years.
True. Oh yeah.
Our fleet costs, mechanical costs, just out of control.
Yeah.
And
it's a big number, man.
So it's like I've had temptations, and I even started putting things into motion before the AGM that I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to hold off on those things now, because my temptation was to just get rid of it all and just get into a great deal on a leasing program. And that might happen. That might be what Noah resorts to, but
he's not going to jump to it blind.
No, he's going to actually put the work in.
Yeah, he's not going to be like, well, this is the solution. I think he's going to do some serious work.
Oh, I hope so. I'll let you know.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's a big deal. Like, and again, it's one thing that we have not stewarded well.
Yeah.
It's like, again, best of intentions, but it's if you have things that you don't prioritize and have somebody focusing on, it'll just, because like in all honesty, our trucks are I bought most of our fleet brand new, but they're 6-7 years old. They weren't maintained well, and they work hard, and they're breaking down, and
they worked extremely hard.
Like they're hauling heavy trailers full time into a landfill, which is basically like you need to have it in 4-wheel drive, and you're going 10K an hour trying not to hit your ceiling or your head on the ceiling.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it can be hard on your trucks doing what they do.
It is.
So it's not going to be an easy task, but I'll see how it goes.
And I think there's one of the places where defining what success looks like is important for him. Mm-hmm. Like, because it's not like he's going to, in 1 year, like the angels will sing around your, your fleet costs. However, on the flip side of that, I think expecting wonderful improvement, like significant improvement, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Like the guys that I respect most in business, they like if they see an issue like that and they decide to address it, they expect results. Like they expect to come away with pretty significant wins.
Yeah. And it might not be this year. We might not see it on the numbers.
Yeah, but I think but I feel like you must. Like at least
we might.
Directionally.
Yes, so long as there's a plan in place.
There's got to be an improvement this year. If there's not improvement, I'm going to cry.
Oh man, so am I. Like seriously, 6 figures on trucks a year is just insane.
Yeah. And I mean again, like they facilitate what you do, and it's an important component, but we know that there's got to be ways that it can be better. And
totally.
So another thing that I personally loved about your AGM was your focus around building, typically in your trade, young men. And and I think there was a fairly large focus around that. It's like, this is your job, this is your calling almost as an organization. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, last time we had a big meeting was almost a couple of years ago now, and it wasn't just with my ownership group, it was with my entire team, including every employee, year-round employee, I should say.
That's right, yeah.
Who's working. And we sat in a room and we, for hours, wrote on a board what our values are. Like, when you work at this company, what matters to you? And we wrote a list of probably 40, 50 things that really stood out to every single component that people felt like they appreciated about the company.
Yeah.
They wrote it down. And then at the end, everyone went up and initialed beside the top 3 things that were like the most important and the most evident that they felt in our company.
Right.
And there was one item that absolutely every single person, almost, there was a lot of us in the room and almost everyone signed beside it, was a culture of brotherhood.
Right.
And it's been my passion to build work ethic and values in young men. And that's something that's clearly just kind of been shining through. And it's something that my partners of all, that's why they do business with me. That's why they've gotten on to this point. And it's something that we just need to be far more intentional about, even tracking and making sure. And a lot of this even fell back on me. It's just like, how are you making sure that every single week you're like, who are you contacting? What are you measuring? How are you making sure that young men in your company are progressing, not just in their work goals, in their career, but how is that guy becoming a successful man beyond just his job?
And this is one of the things that I've got a buddy in Edmonton who runs a lot of businesses, and he was downloading to me what he does to build young people, particularly young men in his industry as well, and how he builds them up personally and helps them set personal goals. And I'm hoping that we can have him in to do a podcast with us, maybe even from a distance, and really grill him on this, because I feel like you guys are a long ways down this road. Like, this is not a unique or new thought for you guys, but it is definitely at the forefront of what you do and what motivates you to do what you do. Yeah. And I just think that the more that we can get the information, inspiration to do this kind of thing better, the better it is for everyone. Yeah.
And I mean, it's always been a priority, but sometimes it feels like it's not doable. And it's a tough thing to balance, because I want to drive and have a successful company where I can sow into others and have good influence. Yeah. In order to do that, you have to have a fiscally healthy company.
Absolutely.
Like there needs to be that component.
Absolutely.
And then there's the stress of like when things aren't fiscally healthy, it feels like to the guys like I'm just being a tyrant.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to balance. So one of the things that we came out of that meeting talking about is like, how do we make sure that the guys know that even when things are stressful, their development as a human being is a priority to us. Yeah. So, because stress and work can get in the way of that, even though, and that's where actually the North Star metric is good, because if the whole team can see that the company's healthy and they're contributing to the health of the company, in turn can keep sowing into them. Yeah. And because they got to know, like, the company can't sow into me if the company's stressed out.
Totally.
It's got to be a two-way street.
Yeah.
And that's where that value per square should help with that.
It does have to be, but not at all times. Like, I think that there's times at which there's going to be, and I mean, because a lot of the people that come to you are not just green in your trade, but also green on the workforce.
Yes. And almost all of them.
So like, you're literally, like it's the old male group or whatever, the boys to men scenario, like you're literally taking kids and in the case of a lot of them, in a couple short years, turning them into men. Like, that's what's happening.
Well, the trade does that mostly on its own.
Well, yeah.
We just need to hold their hand through a lot of it and give support. But yeah,
I remember, and probably got to wrap this up, but I just have this memory. I have my one buddy, Curtis, who we just had lunch with just today, and one of my long-standing buddies, and he worked with me. He's a number of years younger than me. He came with me this one time on a job, a roof that we were doing out in Kitimat. And Kitimat, for those of you who don't know, it's on the west coast, but north of Vancouver, and unbelievably rainy. Like, it is just like it. There's just a lot of rain there. It's the only job I've ever done there, and I don't want to go back. It was like, at first we were like, oh man, it's torrential. We're gonna have to just wait. It was a new roof, and it was very complex. Big barrel in the front and the back. Like they had this entrance right through and went right through the back of the house that was a barrel. And so, like, technical, we were doing stuff with with ice and water peel and stick, etc. And in the pouring rain, just not ideal, like not ideal. So at first we got there and we're like, oof, like we're gonna have to wait this out a bit, because here in Prince George, like if it's raining hard like that, you know, you wait like 20, 30, 50 minutes and chances are at the very least it's gonna pull back.
Yeah,
man. It was like we sat for like half an hour. It was just continued to pour. And then we sat a little bit longer. It was pouring. I'm like, okay, like let's get at this. And it was a big job. And it was just him and me. We get up there and just for days, we're just like him and me in the pouring rain. And I feel like I watched him become a man in a period of 3 days. Like it was outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, and he'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Like it was a pivotal moment. It was like, it just took a lot of grit.
Yeah. Well, this job did that for me. Like when I was working for you back in the day, good old Fort St. John.
Oh,
man.
That came in as a pansy and went out as an oak. No.
Yeah. Man,
no,
seriously though, there have been times where the trade on its own, it really, you got to be mentally tough to get through some days on this trade.
It builds grit.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
It is.
It's beautiful.
If you look at it and you actually recognize it for that, man, and you appreciate that.
Yeah.
So,
and what do we want, man? We want to be surrounded by people in our culture that actually have a bit of fortitude.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I look at it as an opportunity. Yeah. We say all this to say, like,
so much so.
I got this trade that we get to do, and I love doing.
Yeah.
And like, we're talking about some of the bad days. The opposite is also true.
Oh, man,
there's nothing better than a glorious, sunny, beautiful day.
But you can still go home with an aching body.
Oh yeah, and it feels good.
Absolutely,
it feels good. Yeah. So I get this trade, and I primarily hire kids out of high school. That's where almost my entire work comes from, because I love that this is their first job. And even if they don't choose to do this as a career, how cool is it that I get a young person who comes out of high school, gets absolutely destroyed on the job site, physically, mentally. Yeah. And you know what? If they only spend one summer for us, how set up is that young man to go into another trade or go into somewhere where he knows how to work?
Yeah, man.
And he has the mental toughness to get through hard circumstances.
Brilliant.
It's great. I love it.
Absolutely brilliant. Here's 2026. Let's do it.
Sounds great. It's going to be good.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys.